Hello guys, it's two Latin brothers, also known as T.L.B.P. I'm Victor.
And I'm Adrian.
And...
You don't remember what episode this is again, usual.
As usual, this is me.
You know what? Like, for once, I don't even remember what episode this is.
And this is episode 33.
I think we should.
We should introduce that today. We have a guest for you guys.
Yeah.
If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Kevin. I'm a friend of Adrian's from way back.
Yeah.
I just butchered
way
it.
Back. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Actually, it's episode 34.
Episode 34. There
it's
you
episode 34.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay.
It's because all the even numbers are the guest episodes, and all the uneven numbers are just you and me ranting to each other.
Exactly.
So usually how we do it when we have a guest on, guys, is we'll have Victor, depending on who brings the guest. If it's Victor's friend, I will ask questions. If it's my friend, Victor will ask questions, vice versa. Or if it's someone we both know, we'll just kind of see what happens and hope for the best at some point. So Victor, you have the floor.
Okay. So you guys have known each other for a while. Well, like, kind of. But like, what is your first recollection of each other? Or if you can even remember that.
Well, it has to be the water project. So as soon as he asked me to be on the podcast, it was the water project.
That's actually not even the first thought I have.
No?
No, it's not even that. Because before so when we were in grade 7, we had to do we did the science fair thing.
Oh my. Oh.
Yeah,
he's like, that was so awful. He's like, I could have done better.
Actually, we got a pretty good mark. We got we got a really good mark.
Yeah,
but I remember we had to, so we made a homemade water cycle type thing. Yeah. Well, Kevin did, and then I made the poster.
Yeah.
But but before we even agreed to do that together, we used to play basketball a lot during recess. Really? That's the first initial thought.
Oh yeah. Outside, yeah.
He's like, oh yeah,
I remember.
And he's like, I was an intense ball player once.
Well, no, he's a soccer goalie actually. That's another thing I remember him for.
Yeah.
He's a really good goalie, actually.
I used to be.
Actually, you know what? We should get you to practice with him. But yeah.
That's the first memory, eh? The basketball. I don't even remember that.
Yeah, I remember look, so here's the thing. When I was younger, I had this amazing memory of recollecting things. And hopefully there's another guest. I keep talking about this person. I will have on at one point. Hopefully he will be on. But I used to freak him out with how precise I could remember things. I could remember the date, the time, when it occurred, when he said it, or when the event occurred. Nowadays, I can't remember what happened last week.
No. Same.
It's just, I don't know what happened, but that's the first recollection I have. But the project is a notable one. I mean, that's when the first time you came over.
Oh, for sure.
And and my mom fed everyone, and that was great.
That was actually a good time. Plus, we got a good mark too, so we got some good food and good mark,
What else can you? I mean,
it's I can't complain.
I can't complain.
Well, you walk into a Latin household, we're gonna feed you. That's a given. That's the most stereotypical. You walk into a Latin household, it's you want food? I mean,
and they're just I can't. I really shouldn't. I'm just here's your plate.
No, we weren't asking, and we weren't offering. We're telling you to eat this. There's there's this thing on YouTube. There's this video where they're they ask all these Latin people what's the episode's called Two Latin Brothers. I'm sorry I'm hitting on the Latin subject way too much, but they ask Latin kids what's a thing their parents always do, and this one guy goes, "Time my mom calls me, she doesn't even say hi. She says, 'Have you eaten yet?' when I pick up." And I'm that's so true. Every time I call, or every time she calls, she's like, "Have you eaten yet?" At one point in the conversation, that will come up. She's like, "When are you gonna be home?" I'm like, "Okay, yeah." She's like, "Have you eaten yet?" It's so unbelievable. But yeah, so I mean, that's our first recollection.
Yeah, that's
but the basketball is now that I remember that you brought that up, and there was some good times there on the court.
Well, we used to play elimination a lot in grade 7. We were addicted to that.
Yeah, and then the friendships were lost over that. There was
oh my gosh. What was some people some people even got really hurt because of the little gravel rocks.
Oh, for sure.
Remember that? On the
fall.
Pavement. Yeah, because so because we're in Canada,
literally,
but because we're in Canada, I mean, for context, for those who are in Europe and don't know what we're talking about, in Canada, when it gets too cold and there's a lot of ice on the floor, they put gravel on the floor so you can get grip and you can walk. The problem is when the snow melts and the ice melts, there's just gravel everywhere. So when you're walking on gravel on cement, you can slide across the cement on your tennis shoes. Yeah. So when you're playing basketball and you're running, you can imagine
I've had some experience.
The amount of accidents that would occur. It's absurd. We had so many accidents. like some guy like I think dislocated his ankle or something like that.
Oh,
or, like
wow.
broke his ankle or I can't remember. It's just like, and then I remember anyway, but yeah.
But friendships lost. What?
Oh yeah, I know.
Getting
like,
mad. It's like you eliminated.
Seriously, like, I mean, you would always know when the situation would happen. It would be like that person that takes things super seriously, and it's just a little fun game, you know. And especially when the person you don't think is gonna make the shot makes a shot before you.
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah, but I remember what was it? I remember like what we do is like we'd start. And then this one guy, like the first guy scored, picked, you know, the number of elimination.
Yeah.
And I remember this one time when 30 of us were playing, and he
man.
goes, the last 25, because he wanted the game to be over. Because there's just so many people, and there's only like a one basketball.
Oh, man.
Like, it would get so out of hand. And I remember we would get to a point where, I think there was a point where the teachers had to stop playing because of all the fights and arguments that would happen. Like, it got so out of hand.
Definitely.
But yeah.
Sure.
See, my class at that time, when we were playing lots of basketball, we weren't like that. We were just overly friendly with each other. It's like, did I push? Sorry.
But like, see, the difference with your generation and our generation is vast.
No, but when it came to soccer, people would start fighting.
Oh,
Like,
I mean,
like, straight up, like-
I mean, I'm sure you know who I'm thinking of right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Who always got into arguments. Oh my goodness, that was like absurd.
No, but like what we'd always do is play the French immersion kids against the English kids.
Yeah,
There would always be war against us.
When we were in grade 7 and 8 at the same elementary school, there was like straight up segregation between the French kids and the English kids. Like it was straight up segregation. Like it's like no. Like we go on a field trip. What happened to the French kids? Like, oh, the field trip's in English. Why would we invite them? Or like they would go on a field trip and we'd be like, why aren't we invited? They're like, because the field trip was to Quebec and none of you speak French, so well, it's a waste of field trip. So like stuff like that. But now they actually invite the French kids.
Wow.
Oh, like for his generation.
You mean we invite the French?
I mean, they invite the French kids. We believe in straight segregation. It's like straight up racist.
It's like no. We invite them.
No, it's no. Okay, next question. I don't know where this is going anymore.
Okay. What are your hobbies? You know, like any interests, hobbies.
Well, some of my hobbies are I love going to the gym. It's coming like a passion of mine now. I'd be going like at least 6 times a week, I would say.
Oh wow.
Until I started gymming, and it's like, what's the point of just sitting down all day playing games? And you could go get a workout done, a couple hours of your day, and then can go back and sit, play games. That way, you know, you're bettering yourself, not like personality wise, but just like muscle. Because I used to be very skinny. I used to be really skinny, like 130 pounds, but now I'm up to like 185.
That's pretty good actually.
Yeah, like 10 months of work.
Well, normally when people start working out, they get like that boost of like
Yeah,
instant muscle.
yeah,
like
instant.
they had that like little bit of.
Yeah.
I remember Skinny Kevin. I remember that.
Oh.
He's like, I remember that.
And then when I switched schools
Yeah.
to grade 8,
Yeah.
that's when it got even worse too, because I would give my friends my lunch.
Well, no, actually, I think it got worse because you grew more.
Exactly.
It's like,
that is true. That is true too. I grew more. Plus, I would give away my lunch. But like, it wasn't all my lunch. Like, my friends wouldn't eat the vegetables, so I was stuck with the vegetables. But if my mom made lasagna, that's gone.
Oh yeah.
Shepherd's pie, that's gone.
Yeah,
You know?
that's all the good stuff.
So all the good stuff is gone.
No, it's
you know?
like he's a Canadian. Shepherd's pie.
Exactly.
No, but I remember like I don't know. I think it's really bizarre. Like you know how like when you were younger, like there were always those kids who were always at the gym, and you're like you never understood it.
Yeah.
And then you grew up, and you start going, and you're like, oh my gosh, I get it now.
And then like I was kind of like beat myself up. Imagine what I would have looked like now if I went earlier.
Yeah.
You know, like with
Yeah.
everyone else.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It's
Like I used to care, and then I got to college, and I just stopped just stopped caring at all about my physical health.
Yeah.
And it's gone to a point where my parents like, yo man, you gotta do something about this. Like this is getting like this. If you don't stop this here, it's gonna become an issue. And I'm like to them, okay, look, here's the thing. I'm like, I'm Latin. Almost everything I eat is either fried or is going to be fried at one point. I'm like, there's no way for me to just stop eating.
no,
Like,
exactly.
and like, what is it? My sister does like these detox things where she'll only eat raw fruits and vegetables. That's all she'll eat. And then we're like that. We're so like order pizza.
We're just like in front of her, just like
We'll go like get like
We'll keep the blueberries.
No, we go to like we'll go to like a meat, we'll go like a butcher shop, get like the guts of
finest
steak,
meats.
Oh man.
throw it
And
on
then
the barbecue. Like we're the worst. So like it gets really out of hand in this house. Like we can't like. So currently we have our aunt visiting us from Mexico.
So we're showing her like a bunch of different foods she
like
normally doesn't get.
Yeah.
So we're eating even more now.
Yeah. So we're like it's absurd. Like what was?
It's like we went for like we got boar.
Yeah, we got
like Italian
boar.
sausages.
I didn't even have boar.
You've never had boar?
No, I never had boar.
Dude, you're from here.
That's what I'm saying. You're just like what? Or pretty soon we're getting kangaroo too.
Okay, now I've never had kangaroo.
That's I don't know
That's
about
an exotic
that.
meat.
That's I don't know.
I'll probably taste good.
I mean, okay, look, I have a friend. He's Asian, and he's like, actually, we went to college, but he's like, yo, every time he invites me out, he's like, yo, are you okay with this? I'm like, well, why wouldn't I be? He's like, well, because they offer this and this, like whatever it is. I'm like, is it good? He's like, well, to me it is. I'm like, okay, let's try it. Why not? And like, I've had frog legs. I've had like I mean, and he's like, dude, you're the only non-Asian guy I know that's literally willing to eat anything I throw at him. And I'm like, well, I mean, okay, look, I'm like, from a cultural perspective, I'm like, your people have been doing it for years. Y'all fine. I'm like, if I'm gonna be the one to die now, like clearly something's up. Like that's the thing too. Like, but also like, not to throw on the Asians, but like there are some things that like you question until you try and you're like, oh, it makes sense now. It's like what is it, like frog legs? Like at first you're like, oh, I don't know about that. Like a lot of people are scared of frogs or they have phobia of frogs. Yeah. They're like, I can't even look at that. And you pick it up and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. And then you bite into it. And it's like,
this is delicious.
No, it's like no joke. You're like,
tastes like chicken.
Yeah, it actually does taste like chicken. You're actually like, whoa, what's the matter? Y'all bluffing, right? You like look at it and you're like, no, I don't know. I think y'all swapped this one out. This is a fake flipper, isn't it? But yeah, stuff like that.
Speaking about those like exotic kind of foods, like apparently like Sobeys sells like alligator or something.
Oh yeah,
I want to try that.
Yeah,
that's something I want to try.
Actually, there's a butcher shop in downtown.
Yeah,
where they sell alligator.
Oh, that probably tastes good.
I have no idea. I've never had alligator.
Our sister wants to bring it, but she doesn't know how to cook it.
Yeah, well, actually, we have a friend. He says that they prepare it in soup. He's from somewhere in Central America, but because of like a bunch of wars and stuff, he ended up in Belize, and he says that there they make soup out of it and like stuff like that. And he's like, but he's that man. He's literally eating everything.
He's like everything.
That he's eating. Honestly, like he tells some crazy stories. He says he used to go fishing and there would be alligators all around them. And I'm like, that's like that. That's like that's
extreme fishing.
Oh yeah, oh no. And he says that his dad would like throw cages into the
boat. What are you talking about? You're swimming.
You're swimming? Oh man.
No, and he says that
he swims with
he says they used to like go fishing with like their bare hands, like. They like go just
dump
their hand in
grab the fish. Yeah. So like when he goes fishing and he's here, he fishes for hours, but he fishes with like the intention like I'm not gonna live if I don't get this fish.
Yeah, like he's so intense. He's like the most intense. Like what is it? He's
like a survivalist.
We were at a friend's cottage and he came over to see the cottage and whatnot. And I turned around for like 2 seconds. He had a frog. Like a tiny little frog, and he was like sticking it on a hook. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm gonna go catch some bass right now." I'm like, I turned around for 2 seconds.
No, first he found oysters. He cracked them open and then put it on the hook. And then the fish ate the oysters. Then he went to go catch a frog.
I'm like, yo, but like the absurdity of like just some of the stuff that he does. I honestly like. What is my dad's like? That man grew up in a jungle, like just straight up.
No, he did.
He's like straight up Tarzan. No, but he was telling us a story the other, like almost like a month ago now, about how his dad used to like lay lobster traps in the water. I mean, they do it here too, but you know their cages and stuff like right. He says that he would have to go get the cage because they tied on a rope out into the ocean. He says that he would have to go get them. It's like, but there's like sharks and there's like alligators.
Because it's the ocean.
He's like, because it's the ocean. And he's like swimming in the water, like going to get these cages. I'm like, yo, man, your dad was really gambling on your life.
I would have been like, Dad, you go get him.
Yeah,
and he'd be like, I have to pay for the house.
No, and he says that the worst part would be is he'd go get the cage and he didn't have time to check the cage, right? So you grab the cage, you swim back to the dock, right? He's like, the problem would be is like I'd get back to the dock and the cage would be empty. He's like, that would be the most
the worst. Risk your life for nothing.
Exactly, right? I'm like, that's absurd. That's like I can't.
At least I got my cage back to reset it.
It's like I can't. Like that's just. I'm like, no, I'm not. I can't put my life like that on the line.
Whereabouts is this?
Oh, there's like it's because he's
Belize.
It's
Belize. So it's
right below Mexico.
right below Mexico. So there's like Mexico, El Salvador, Honduras.
No, El Salvador is lower. It's
yeah,
below that.
yeah. It's
Belize is like bordering with Mexico.
Yeah, so Belize, and then it's El Salvador and then Honduras.
Actually, Belize, for those who want to travel Central America, I recommend you go there. They're actually, I think their second or first national language is English.
Yeah.
So you can go.
So yeah, they know they speak a lot of English there.
Yeah. So it's also really beautiful. Like the pictures.
Oh,
It's very, very tropical.
Oh yeah, like you find also like if they offer you fruit, don't question, just eat it.
Yeah.
And then you'll come back to Canada and question why it's not here.
Yeah, they talk like my dad and him. They talk about certain fruits that they don't have here, and when they look at these photos, you can see it in their eyes that they really crave it.
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's just like we can't have this here.
Yeah, no, like what is it like? And they like talk about fruits and like even like certain flowers I've never heard of. So I'm literally sitting next to them just googling half the stuff they're talking about. I'm just like, what is
Actually,
happening?
my dad found this fruit here and went to go share it with him, and his eyes almost got teary. He's like, I haven't had this in years.
Yeah, it's like it's
like it was a normal fruit you could just go grab off a tree.
Yeah.
And then you come here and you live like most of your life here and you don't have that fruit anymore. And then some guy, which is my father, just comes up to you and it's just like, here, have some. And he's like, I haven't had this in so long.
Yeah, like it's crazy. All right, next question, Victor, because
Oh man, we're getting to my last question.
it's okay. I'm sure we can ramble at the end.
I'm sure we can wrap.
I'm sure we'll find something to talk about.
Okay. So, working out wise, how like is your workouts? Like more weight training, more cardio? How is it based off? Or is it just kind of I walk in and I see that thing, I'm gonna do it?
Well, first it started off more of just trying to build mass, so it was a lot of weight training more than cardio. I've only started doing cardio for like the last couple weeks, I would say, and that was the mistake I made. I should have been doing it
At the beginning.
beginning with the weight training.
Yeah.
Because I'm noticing now, like some of like the weights I'm getting up to, I'm like, let's say like when I'm doing like a bent over row, if you don't know what that is, it's like a deadlift, but instead of going all the way up with it, you're kind of like hinged on an angle. And you're just
basically
squeezing
like
the shoulder.
yeah.
I
You
thought-
squeeze
I
you
thought-
squeeze at the top.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I honestly thought you were gonna be like, just go Google it.
Yeah, and like
But I mean, it was a good explanation.
Yeah, you get to a point where you can basically lift to squeeze, but
Yeah.
not do a full
Yeah.
set, basically.
I'm stuck at 135 because I'm gassed after like 7 reps, and
The goal is to do 10.
Exactly.
The goal is
Exactly,
to get that even round number.
exactly, and then
What's it called? I read this article saying like if you're gonna go for 10 reps, try going for 15. So that way, like, let's say a friend comes over to you and it's just like, can you do 10 reps of that weight? You can be like, of course. But like by the end of it, you feel good because you know you can go beyond that. Yeah.
Wow. What? Okay, whatever.
You're just like, what are we?
I mean, what a
do
showboater.
it like extra instead. You know?
No, yeah.
But like, don't do it to the point where you hurt yourself.
No,
Just
actually,
always
I-
be.
yeah.
You know.
Grace, I have a friend who he works out a lot, and he's big. He's like a tank actually. This one time we were late for class, and the elevator at the college wasn't working, and it was on the 4th floor, and we were on the 1st floor. So we start running up the stairs, and like the thing is, we're like carrying like 3 textbooks, our laptop, and all this. There's like it was winter too, so like we're in boots,
a
our
proper
jacket.
workout.
So we're running up the stairs.
It's a full-on workout.
No, wait, so we get to the top of the stairs, and I'm perfectly fine, and he's puffing, like heaving. He's like, oh my god, like, I think I'm having an asthma attack. I'm like, what are you talking about? I have asthma. And he just, like, he couldn't, like, but, like, one of the things was that, because he works out, but he doesn't do any cardio.
yeah.
He does no cardio.
It's just all weight training.
Yeah, he's just all weight training. And then I'm like, well, I mean, you look fit, but clearly you're not.
Yeah.
Like, that was.
Yeah, because your body can have the appearance of like, oh my gosh, this guy can probably run 5K easily. But then you start seeing them running, and it's like, what is he doing?
Do you remember our gym teacher, how when he'd take us, when we were in high school, and he'd take us to the weight room, what he would say to, I can't say his name, but he would call him Jeffrey.
Call him Jeffrey. I didn't go to your high school, I don't think.
Yeah, I did. You went to.
Oh yeah, you did.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you went for some reason.
I did for a year.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes
Okay,
sense.
yeah.
That's
But
what
when we
I
were
thought.
in grade 10, we were in the same gym class together.
Oh.
And
yeah.
okay, our gym teacher, there was this kid who he would always complain they would go to the weight room, and okay, but this kid was like average. He wasn't like wasn't big, and he wasn't like lean either. So, but I remember our gym teacher he'd call him Jeffrey. His name actually isn't Jeffrey, but he'd call him Jeffrey, and he'd be like, okay, look, I know you're already chiseled. We're aiming for perfection. it was just like, it was great because he was like complaining like crazy, and he's like, Jeffrey, I know you're chiseled, but we're aiming. Like, just the seriousness in his voice was gold. I wish I could have filmed it.
No, I love when my class goes to the weight room, because like normally like the kids in my class, well, like, because now technology's overcome everybody, so like everyone's like basically weak. So like I just show up to the gym and I pick up a weight, and everyone's just like, whoa, how is he picking up? I'm like, this is a weight everybody should be able to pick up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like 50 pounds. The average person should be able to pick up 50 pounds.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I was one of those people back in the day with the weight room. I'll complain. I am not doing this.
Well, yeah.
So I would sit on the leg press machine.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you using that? No. I'm not here to work out. I'm just
I
here to
remember.
kill time.
I remember.
Kill time. It's like on my sheet.
I used to get on the treadmill and just stay on the treadmill
the entire time.
And I remember this one time, the other gym teacher when I was in grade 11, he told me, he's like, wow, he's like, honestly, he's like, I thought you were gonna stop like at one point, but you stayed on there the whole time. Wow. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, what speed was that? I'm like, 3. I'm like, that's like barely jogging. Yeah. He's like, well, I'm like, yeah, it's more like I'm just making it look like I'm jogging, but I'm actually just walking.
The worst part of the gym was when we had to do the classwork for a couple weeks.
Oh, you mean health?
Yeah,
health. Oh, I remember.
I didn't sign up for this.
Oh, I remember. Okay, did you do gym in grade 12?
Yes.
Okay. Well, here's what my teacher did. When I took grade 12 gym class, I was in grade 11 when I did it. Yeah. So I was like with a bunch of older kids. He just grabbed this like big like binder, like this big, and he just dropped it on the desk. And he's like, that's every STI known to man. Use a condom. And he walked out of the room.
I think I know who you're talking about. He's an author, right?
No. He's an author. Yeah. But I mean, I guess we could talk about him. He writes books. Right. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll reach out and have him on at one point. So we'll see. But he did. That's what he did, and I'll never forget that.
I remember that actually.
I'll never forget that happened, and I was like,
it was like, use the condom.
No, but like on it, like some of the kids though, their reaction was golden. Like they were like, I never knew it was that many. Like, how could it be that many? Like, how did we get to this point in time where there's this many?
Yeah.
Right. So like, but I think it's a good shock factor, but it's also like a good like, hey, we're not telling you because we're just kidding around. No. We actually genuinely care. Yeah. Like it's one of those like, hey, I need you to pay attention. Yeah. But it was good. And then I remember he talked about, is it Maslow and like the pyramid?
Maslow's hierarchy.
Yeah, hierarchy. Yeah, he talks about that stuff.
Oh.
He went into like...
Wasn't this grade 12? How do I know this?
Okay, look. You can learn this in literally any grade. It's very simple to understand, but the reason he was going through it was because...
Because the class, like, the majority of the class, yeah, it's grade 12.
Yeah.
But, like, there were hooligans, you know? If you're taking gym... Most kids, like, if you're taking gym class in, like, grade 12, it's like... It's not there because you want to take gym. You're there because you just want to get the credit.
You're just trying to leave high school. That's why you're there.
Exactly. So like when you started like, that's why health came around, and everyone was like, I don't want to do this, and it was like da da da. It was crazy.
I remember
reckless times.
There were even kids who just skipped that whole week. They wouldn't go to gym class. They were doing reckless times.
Well, it was funny, especially in that room. It wasn't necessarily the teacher we're talking about, but it would be another teacher the year before. He would stop talking because everyone just shouting and stuff in the class. I don't want to hear this.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, this is health. You know, you need to know some of this stuff.
Like, I mean, well,
then again, it's there for the gym, and then be 2 weeks drawn out.
Yeah, but the other thing too is like, I get it. It's also you're a teenager. You don't care. You genuinely just don't care, right? And then later on, you look back, like, I feel like I could have learned something in those 2 weeks.
Yeah,
there was probably something he was going to tell us that was important, and I didn't go to that, or I wasn't paying attention. Yeah. Actually, there was this one guy who sat at the back of the class playing Tetris when we were in grade 10 the entire time. He had like a 3D phone, and he's just sitting there like, yo man, look, I'm getting all these lines. Like, that was him. He's just sitting like, I think in the second back row. I was like across from him, behind him.
So you were watching him play Tetris.
I was actually in the back row, but he's just sitting there like looking at the guy. Yo man, look at all these lines I'm getting. Playing Tetris right now. Like that was the kind of environment it was. Like, it was just absurd. Some of the stuff that was happening. Also, like, I remember, here's something that his generation suffered that we didn't. When we were in elementary school, remember the hall pass rule? Oh. Do you remember how, like, the first 2 weeks we cared? Oh. And then we just stopped caring?
Exactly, yeah.
Right? Okay. His generation didn't get that. We just stopped caring. They got detentions. Yeah. Like, that's literally how bad it, like, we went from, we don't care to you're getting a detention.
Well, for me, I never actually had to deal with that 'cause I was like the teacher's favorite. So I'd just be walking in the hallways. They'd be like, hi. And they'd just completely ignore the fact that I didn't have a hall pass. So it's just like, I got the pass. Like right behind me, be like, do you have a hall pass? Detention. And I'd be like, oh! Like, damn, I just got past that.
It's also because you were valedictorian. You had the highest grades in the class.
Yeah.
It's not that's really it.
Yeah.
You were the smartest person, so if you were in the hallway, odds were you weren't
for a reason.
You weren't fooling around.
Yeah.
I remember a time, well, it happened almost every day, but like in our middle school, grade 7, we'd be there in like the lunchroom, right? And they had that little cafeteria thing.
Oh yeah, I remember
and
that.
what bugged me the most is our table used to get picked last majority of the time.
Yeah.
And I always wanted the old Dutch all dressed. I don't know why that's important.
Yeah.
It's just something that's still
Okay.
bugging me.
Okay, look,
It's just like it's something that still bugs me.
Okay, also I think we should take into consideration we had so many people in our class that were troublemakers.
Oh
like,
it was actually one of the best classes. And when you stop and throw the tennis ball around the class, I was like, what's the purpose of this, you know?
Oh yeah. The silent ball.
Silent ball. Why are we playing silent ball?
Every class does that though.
But like now,
we still do that.
Now, but like okay, well, not anymore because you're not there anymore. You're in high school now.
Yeah.
But like I think what
actually I played. Actually, funny story. In high school.
Don't tell me you're doing that in high school.
No, we are. We totally are. No, what's it called? My teacher didn't show up. So like we're just like, okay, what are we gonna do? You know, should one of us go to the office? You know, like the best students are just like, I'm gonna go to the office. I'm gonna go get us a supply teacher or something. And we're just like, no. Like if we wait 20 minutes and there's no one that shows up, we can leave. We'll just leave.
That's exactly what I was.
No, it's actually not 20. It's 15.
Whatever.
Legally.
Okay, well, we're just like we're just gonna leave. Like if there's no one there, you know, we're just gonna leave. And then like we started like playing in the class because some students are just like, nah, we're just gonna like fool around in the class. You know, like, where are we gonna go? So then we start fooling around. We start getting too loud. And then the teacher walks in and is like, hey, what are you guys doing in here? And we're just like, oh, we're just kind of playing games. And they're just like, where's your teacher? And it's like, never showed up. And it's like, okay, give me a second. And he goes and he gets a supply teacher. And this supply teacher's like, so did the teacher leave any work? No. Did he leave anything on Google Classroom? No. Do you guys have any
Google
work?
Classroom?
Okay, look. So Google Classroom has honestly fundamentally changed the way homework is done. He does everything on a computer. Yeah. I've never seen him bring home a textbook.
Well, I only brought one textbook.
It's a science class. Yeah. But I've never seen him bring home I've never seen a math textbook in this kid's presence.
No,
I remember that too. Like I remember being in this teacher's math class, grade 9, and it was probably the worst experience ever because I grade 9, like I didn't really care.
Okay, say the teacher's name and I'll bleep it out. Okay, he's not the worst teacher.
No, he's not the worst teacher. Not because of experience. He's a funny guy.
Oh,
but like me, I was not very decent at math.
Yeah.
And I didn't really try too as well.
Yeah.
That was probably the main problem there. And the textbook I had the answers in the back of the book.
Oh yeah.
So
all textbooks had the answers back.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I'd bungle I'll completely mess up the equation, but somehow I'll come up with the right answer. Every time. Like, well, this doesn't even make sense. How does that even come up? Oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing. Back of the book? There we go. You won't know.
It's like I did some gibberish here and answer.
The homework. How did you get these answers, you know?
Yeah. No, I
page 235.
The fact that you still remember that page. No, but I remember.
But what I hated was when he'd be like, when the teacher would be, I need you to do 1, 2, and 3, and 1 would be divided into letters, so it'd be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and then you go 2 would be like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then 3 would be
we still get that
all the way to like Z.
That hasn't changed.
Look. The issue with that is, it's like each question, or like each one of those letters takes at least 10 to 15
They're just minutes. Like, you'll be done in an hour.
Yeah.
You're like 3 hours later. I'm done.
No, I'm like, I don't know. I actually told this once to Matt. I'm like, I don't know who you think I am, but I'm not that dedicated to begin with. Second of all, I have a life. He's like, it's you're a student. That's your job. I'm like, I get that. But one thing is me being a student and being a slave to your work. Yeah. I'm like, I'm not getting paid to do this. You're getting paid to do this. And you're paying. I'm like, this is like the problem we're living in. And then and I remember the next week, because it was a Friday when I went on this crazy rant. And the next week, he didn't assign homework for like 2 days. And then on the third day, he was absent, and the supply teacher professor, because like one of his kids had an emergency or something, so he didn't show up, and the supply teacher was just going on about something, and then he's like, I'm not gonna assign homework because I don't know. I don't know where you guys are in the text. He's like, and then he's like, do you guys know where you are in the text? I'm like, we were actually gonna start a new unit today, so there's that. And then he's like, okay, whatever, no homework. So we didn't have homework for like 3 days that week. Some guy's like, yo, bro, what did you do?
Continuing with the first story, as I was talking about, how like the substitute teacher went in. Okay. We sat down together, and then the teacher's like, so there's absolutely nothing for you guys to do. And he's like, okay. He's like, I'm gonna do something, and I want you guys to like pretend like nothing ever happened. Okay. He's like, I'm just gonna leave the room. And he's like, and you guys are gonna do whatever you want. He's like, I wasn't here. He's like, no one called to me. He literally left the room. And some students actually left, and we just stayed in the class. Wow. And then there was another time in math class where the teacher's just like, did your teacher leave you guys work? And it's like, no. Do you guys have a Google Classroom? No. And he's like, okay.
What's Google Classroom, you know?
That's like on, what is it? Like, that's, at the college, we have a system called, we used to have a system called Blackboard.
Oh, man. Blackboard. Let me tell you.
Okay, wait. Let me tell you this really funny story, okay? So, professors can see who's logged into Blackboard, okay? And this one professor cornered this student at the beginning of class, asking him, listen to this, it's week 10, okay? The boy had never logged into Blackboard, like, ever. And she's like, what are you doing? He's like, I don't know how to do it. And she goes, you know they have tutorials? Like, you can go to IT and they'll give you a tutorial on how to use it. And he was like, oh, I didn't know that. And then she's like, this is a really funny part. To get a tutorial on Blackboard, it says you can get a tutorial on Blackboard. It's the only place they would announce that you could get it. So how is he supposed to know if he doesn't know how to get onto it? But it was the funniest thing to me and he went the entire semester without ever logging into Blackboard. So he never had this class notes. He never had he never knew the due date for anything, really.
He just kind of handed it in.
He just kind of, he just ballparked everything, or just asked his friends. I don't know. But I remember when we finished that class, later the following semester, we all asked him, so like, what's your grade? He got like a B+. I was like, this genius. This is like, I'm like, this guy's got to be gifted. There's no way. It's like some psychology course or something like that. But it was so funny, like the fact that he had gone the entire semester without ever logging into the system.
When you went, did you take?
So I started off as programming. I did a year of that. Oh. And then I had a change of heart. And then I do what I consider some soul searching. Yeah. Which was, I did part-time courses at night, just like anything really. And then I was just like going through that. I did like 3 courses. I did a psychology course. I did a course on like the Canadian welfare system in Canada. And then I did some communication courses too. Like, cause my English grade was like literally like a 50 when I graduated high school. So I was like, any program, you need like at least a 70 or a 65 to get into it. So I was like, I gotta get that up. So I took like 4 English courses. Okay. Actually, I was actually gonna do I did some type of high school upgrade thing, but then they told me like the amount of time it takes to do that is like going to high school. But I'm like, I ain't got 6 months right now just to upgrade, to get this mark to an 80. That's not worth it. So the following year, I just registered in a summer course, and I took the actual English course that's the entry communications course to every program. I just took that class. I'm like, forget it. I'm just gonna take it. So I took that course, and then I tried to get into social work. Actually, no. The story goes is I went to go talk to a career counselor that the program coordinator for programming said I should go see. He's like, and he fought for me. He's like, no man, stay, come on. Also because for those, we've actually said this already. I'm dyslexic. So programming, dyslexic don't really mix that well together. So he went on this whole thing how I would have been the first one to get through his program. Like, this guy just wanted bragging rights.
He's like, you can't do this. I had this kid. It was just it's like, who's dyslexic and passed this class?
He did it. Yeah. So
it was literally just to get people to go.
Yeah.
No excuses then.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So. But I ended up dropping the program anyway. And then, but he said I should go see a career counselor. He's like, maybe they'll help you or whatever. And I did all these personality tests and all this other mumbo jumbo that they make you do. But every time in the top 3, social service worker would pop up. But it would always be with the most obscure things. So it'd be plumber, architect, social service worker. Next one I did, it was like rabbi. I'm not Jewish. Like that's literally what it's like, rabbi. And then the next one was what was it was roofing, social service worker. I'm like, what is? And then like the next one was like social service worker, musician, writer. I'm like, I'm dyslexic. I can't write. And then I was like, and then like I even got pastor at one point. I'm like, okay, look. I need you. I need to understand something here. Like I get it. Clearly, I have some type of faith. Let's acknowledge that at least. Okay, I believe in a God. Sue me, but how do we get Judaism into Christianity? You know, like it was like. But she's like, no, it's just. These people are people who are willing to help people, like regardless of the problem. She's like, I think you should look into it, you know, just eyeball. I'm like, okay, so I literally didn't even think about it. I just registered for the program and did not get accepted because it was too late. It was already full.
It's just like you didn't have the criteria.
No, but I got whitelisted or waitlisted. When you get waitlisted is when they like rank everyone's grades to see who makes it. And then they told me, and then I went to go talk to my program coordinator, and she's like, take this other program for 1 year, and we'll accept you, no questions asked, like regardless of your grades or whatever. She's like, if you take this program, like for 1 year, I'm like, okay. So I took that program, and I didn't even, like, you're supposed to get a certificate, but apparently, like, there was like some whole issue with the professor. So literally on like my grading scale, I have like, you know, like B, C, B, 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 B. I never get A's, guys. It's the truth. It's just B, 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 B. And then like in that class, because the professor literally went missing in action, I got NA. And if you put your hand, like the cursor over it, it'd say, if there's any error, please contact the college for more information.
If I didn't show up, where's my A?
Okay, wait, so that's the thing. So a bunch of students, like, some students were like, we're going to college, it's unacceptable. It was like this whole thing. I'm like, okay, I don't want to get involved. Like, honestly, I don't want to get involved. I'm like, I'm going to see what, like, if I don't get accepted for the program, I'll make a big deal about it. And then I'll join this lawsuit. Because if I don't get accepted for the program I want to get into, so I apply. Literally 2 days later, I got an acceptance letter.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. Yeah, and I'm going into my second year now.
You just reminded me of
This has literally been the crash course for the last 5 years of my life.
You reminded me of when you were doing all the tests. I keep getting like, I did this test to like find career paths I could get, and I kept getting like a gunsmith. And I'm like, oh, what? I'm like, so gunsmith. But like the second one that kept showing up was like a brain surgeon, and like brain surgeon, gunsmith, brain surgeon, gunsmith.
So you're gonna shoot the guy and operate his brain.
Operate on his brain.
It's like, it's a win-win.
It's a win-win. It's like, hey man, I made that gun they used to kill you.
It's like, that's my emblem right there.
It's like, that's my signature.
It's on my side hustle. No, but yeah, like that's really it. Do you know, you were earlier saying how you want to go back to school. Do you know what you'd go back into? Like, or like, I mean, not like, okay, let's put it more hypothetical. If you could go back into literally anything, what would you go back to do? Like, regardless of like grades, regardless of anything, what would you go do?
Brain lag.
What would I do?
Like, regardless of like your grades, what? Like, I mean, what was your dream growing up? I guess, what did you want to be when you were little?
Not necessarily a job. I always wanted to be like a professional soccer player, but that didn't work out. So
I mean, it could still. You never know.
He's like,
it would be like a doctor. I'll say like, or a doctor or like a dietitian to help out people like the same problems with me, because I got like severe allergies and stuff.
Oh, I remember. It's hard. I used to walk around with an EpiPen.
Oh yeah, I ditched that, which is pretty stupid, but like I still need it.
What? Seriously? Okay, look, if something happens, like I want the world to know I tried it.
Exactly. Yeah, so I'll probably go back to school if grades and stuff didn't matter, become like a dietitian to help out with people with the same problems as me.
Wow, interesting. The future.
That or a doctor, like a brain surgeon.
Yeah, actually, so like, okay, so I'm dyslexic. I also have like this whole memory thing. He has the memory thing as well, but yeah, we're just I got the short end of the stick here. My sister, on the other hand, she's normal. she's normal. She's like the rest of the world, and she's and there are times where I'll have conversations with her. I'm like, honestly, you could have been a doctor. And she'll turn like me like, you could be a doctor. I'm like, yeah, but you know how long it take me to be a doctor? I met someone who was my age when I started college who was becoming a doctor. You know how long it takes? 10 years to become a doctor, right?
Yeah.
It took them 17 years to become a doctor, and that's when you know they're the best doctor on earth.
Oh.
because they fought to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's no question anymore. Are they a doctor? And it's like, and it's not even like, you know, oh, they were just lazy or whatever. No, it's like they had to do it in their own time because of their, you know, disability or whatever it was, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm like, someone like that is truly inspiring.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like, because you're like, oh my gosh, 17 years. Like, I'm 18 right now. Like, when I was 1, they started. Yeah. You know, like that's when it really hit. I'm like, oh my gosh, 17 years.
It's like, if you don't know your stuff, it's because you chose to not know your
stuff. No, yeah, it's like, no, but like, it really hits you hard because at that point you're like, man, like, you know, if you have the willpower to do it, anything is achievable.
Yeah, for sure. Most definitely.
Yeah, like that really amazed me. You having anything else you'd like to contribute to this?
When you were in your game days, what kind of games were you into? First-person shooter?
Yeah, for sure, most definitely. Call of Duty. I started off with like the best ones, like, you know, like Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. Black Ops wasn't too bad. Then it just, as soon as you can jump 10 feet in the air, I'm like, I'm not playing this no more.
The realism went away.
It's like, what is this? You know, I'm going to shoot the guy on the ice. Doing! I'm like, he's like 10 feet in the air. How am I gonna? I just stopped playing those. I played Fortnite a little bit here and there.
Okay, look, I tried to get into Fortnite. I really did.
Me too. I did.
I really did. I really tried. I gave it the old Scout Boyd effort. Yeah. But I'm gonna be real with you. I can't do it. Yeah. I can't. It's not that I'm bad at it. It's not that. It's just. I don't know. There's just something about it that I guess I just don't. I mean, maybe it's the art style I don't like. I don't know what it is. But there's just. But you know what? I do like PUBG. My gosh. I had it on my laptop.
It must be the art style.
Look, I had it on my laptop, and it got so bad I had to take it off my laptop. Yeah. Now I only got it on my phone, which made it even worse because I got unlimited data. I'm playing it on the bus now. It's a problem.
My brother is pretty good at that as well. PUBG is pretty good at it. He's pretty good at Fortnite, actually. He's actually, like, out of like everyone I know who plays Fortnite, he's probably like one of the best players.
Yeah, does he stream?
Oh, the only reason why we don't stream is because our internet at home isn't the best. It's pretty bad, but like he is really good. Like he played like maybe like 2,500 games with squads, and he got like 10,000 kills.
You tell him to come here. I'll let him stream.
I don't even know if he's played that many and he's got that many kills. I think it's really high and he's got a ridiculous kill death ratio. Well, I am happy if I get 1 kill in the game, you know, and build a successful house.
Oh no, man. Like like honestly, like in PUBG, like I have like there's this squad of like friends I made on PUBG, actually on my phone, and we're literally like before the match will start, be like, okay, first to get 10 kills, let's go. And we all like literally like just between the 4 of us, like 40 people got eliminated. There's just 4 people.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like we're just like but it's like there's this one guy though. He's from, I can't remember where he's from. He's like I think he's from Brazil. Who's in this like squad of people. He is something I feel like he's cheating. Yeah. Like the amount, like the distance of scope and how like just like that it's over. Like you walk a corner and it came from like 100,000 meters away.
Maybe he used to be in the military, you know?
That's like you're like, you know, if this guy had a real gun, that's terrifying. Like he's a threat. He's a real threat. You know, like that's what I find super interesting. Like people who have real world experience and then play video games are absurdly good at it, and you're like, this is terrifying. Why are you playing? Like, I mean, I don't know. This was your job once upon a time. I don't feel safe anymore. You're like
post like this PTSD is acting up on the other side. I'm like, I'm gonna get you. Tango in. Stuff like that.
Have you seen like those YouTube videos of like people who used to be in the military and they start like yelling at their squad in all the military terms? Those are like the funniest thing. Then the people on the other side just like, who's this guy? What are they doing?
I remember back in the day when my brother was like a huge gamer. It'd be like 2 a.m. I'm trying to get some Z's in, you know. And, all I hear is tango to the north, alpha site. I roll over in the bed. Oh no, you know. 10 minutes later, get him, tango down, bravo to the north, and I'm like, holy smokes, this is 2 a.m. I got work the next day. My buddy's out here doing calls like he's about to like.
He's calling out stuff like it's a military operation.
Oh, it is. And I go down and what game are you playing? Oh, it's Rainbow Siege or something like that.
Rainbow Six Siege.
It's like, it's amazing to see how like he's that good at video games, and
like some people are really like, what is it? Did you hear? Actually, there's a college here where we are that is going to be offering professional gaming lessons.
Yeah.
Because
Hey, maybe he's gonna become a professional gamer.
Play FIFA. You don't have to play.
No,
because
the company is.
No, it's because of what happened. Did you hear about the Fortnite tournament?
Yeah, that's
like some
ridiculous.
16-year-old or 17-year-old walked around. He walked away with $3 million
off a game. That's crazy. And like I hear stories of like kids like that,
but like
dropping out of school, homeschooling just so they can get more game time in. This is crazy, you know.
No, like in the place that's crazy though for that is South Korea. Oh my gosh, those guys. But those guys, I feel like I almost feel like they're on a whole different ballpark. They must have like some their reaction time must be like faster than the average person. Like before they picked up the game, because there's no way that like some of the stuff that you see, especially like when you watch like I never watched the full tournament. I only watched the finale because the finales, you know, like all the other people, it's the best of the best. I don't care anymore, right? Y'all made it here. All right, let's see who wins, right? And they do some like even like in Smash Bros, man. Like some of the things you're like I didn't even know you could like connect this combo with that combo. Like how did you accomplish? I'm like, my fingers are only 2. How are you doing?
No, it's definitely.
And there are some people who play like with their remote like this. Like they use their index. Thanks for that. Okay. No, so they'll have their thumb on the analog sticks, and they'll have their index finger over the other buttons, and just use like their knuckle and their like index finger, like pointer finger, to like click buttons. Like that to me is like
you've evolved.
Yeah, as a human, you've evolved.
with the console, it's like they have those add-ons and stuff you can add to the controller.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, like when it's on computer, it's even more insane because my brother's got that mouse where like it has like 3 or 4 different buttons on the side, which is all his building, right? For Fortnite. So it's like spins, clicks out, house is built.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, oh yeah, no, like what is it? Now they have like specific keypads with like the WAS and like control and shift. It's literally just like an extra external like just for that. Like, and those are the only buttons. I'm like,
nuts.
The future is here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm still waiting for true VR to kick in.
Oh yeah,
I'm waiting for that where I can just plug myself in for like 4 days, come back a new man. Come back. I lived some deep stuff, man, while I was gone. You know, I plugged myself into World War II. The Nazis won. It was the worst.
Yeah, no, like that'll be insane. Like, because you see the way technology is going now, like you said here, with the class homework being all online and stuff. It's crazy because I remember back in the day I had to carry textbooks home.
Oh, that was annoying. The worst was when you had the worst was when you took physics, science. You were taking physics, calculus, and biology. And what was the other? And French. You were walking around with like 80 pounds of just textbook.
That's nuts.
And then and the worst part of it all was like, you know, you'd had all your classes on one floor, and then you'd have to walk up the stairs. And this is where everyone in the comment section should be like, what about a locker?
But the funny thing is they'll give you a locker, but it'll be like next to your homeroom.
So like,
but all your classes are on the other side of the building.
Oh yeah,
that was literally me.
Or the funniest thing would be like, the funniest thing is like, say like you had the same locker from first semester and second semester. So like, say like, because like I remember this one semester I had like one of my homeroom class for first semester is music. So I was literally on the complete other end of the school. Second semester, I was only in like the science area. Like I had all my classes were like 20 steps away from each other. Also because I had a spare, so I had like English, math, science. It's like this like weird triangle thing. That was it. And I'm like, and my locker is all the way on the other side of school. So I never used it. I just threw my stuff in everybody else's locker.
What was your least favorite class at our high school? What you took? Like
my least favorite class?
You took it, this is going to be great, but then, you know, maybe the teacher, maybe the work, maybe just didn't think of it before.
Okay, look, I'd probably say grade 11 math. University level math. For one or two reasons. One, statistically, it's actually the most failed class in Ontario. That's because the jump between so everything from so from the time you start school to grade 10, that's like the foundation. You enter grade 11 and we don't really believe in this concept of you don't know. You know it. You were taught this. Now let's begin the real stuff. So that's when they hit like algorithms and stuff like it gets like the level of expansion in like math. It's like, and we start like, you know, like the y and x axis. They go, let's add a z. Now there's depth. And you're like, why would you do that? Like, why are you doing this to me, right? Like,
and we're done.
oh my god, that's literally what it was like. And then actually, I took math in college. That was absurd.
Oh, I can imagine.
No, it was really funny. I was telling my brother Victor how at the bottom of the page it would say university, like what, like the university the worksheet was taken from. Yeah. Like I'm like, I took a university math course in college. Like that was like, it was absurd. But like some of the stuff, like I was telling my brother how like everything you've ever learned in math is literally a foundation. It's not even the beginning. It's just a foundation. Like it's literally 12 years of just foundation. You get to college or university and we're like, okay, now let's build. Now we're gonna build the walls. Like that's literally
it's like we built the foundation. Now we get to the walls.
and then there are those like elite types who go and take mathematics. University. Yeah. Those guys build the walls, and then they're like, then they go for their masters, and they're like, we're gonna have windows, and then they go for their doctorate, and they add the roof.
No, exactly.
It's like I got a PhD in math.
Yeah, I know. Some people are like crazy, and like. Physics too. The math of science is absurd. Like there are things where you're like, why would I need like think about pi. Like realistically, who sat down to figure this out?
Exactly.
Like it's just like this equals to 3. Like how would you even find the rest of the
but to know that every time without a doubt, that's what it's gonna equal.
Even a better question: have you used pi since you left?
No.
No, exactly. So like
I haven't. Like
so, what you're saying is I need to forget 3.14.
Actually, the math teacher that we were talking about when I was in grade 12, I took college math, mixed math with him.
Yeah.
In my last year of high school, he actually, I remember we were like learning about the y and x. I was like, can someone please tell me when you'll ever use this in real life? And some like Arab kid, like the international student in the back class, goes, never. And he goes, you're passing my class. Don't even come to the exam.
No, what's it called?
And we're all like, wait, seriously?
What's it called? There was a kid in my math class. Oh, it's just like I don't need to know pi. I don't need to know any of this. And he's like, oh yeah. It's just like okay. He's like, do you know pi? And he's like, I don't need the symbol. I can just 3.14. 3.14, and he's like, no, that's a small number. He's like, you need to know the rest of it. And this kid, he memorized 1,000 characters of pi. And the teacher's just like, okay, tell me what pi is then. And he just started going, and then you could just see the teacher's face is just like, oh my gosh, this kid isn't stopping.
It's like what have I done?
What have I done? And he just keeps going and going and going.
He was on his phone. Is he saying the right numbers?
No. Some kid in the back was just like, yo, he's still going. It's right. And we're just like, oh man, this kid, he knows all of pi.
My favorite was like like when international students would be in our math classes, and then they'd be like, our teacher put up a question on the board and then get like a bunch of people to solve it, and then they would go up to the board, and the way they would solve it would be so obscure and be so like, you'd be like, how did you conclude that's the answer? It's like, oh, that's how they taught me, like back in Brazil or whatever.
No, like the Spanish kids that came into my math class, they started doing the math equations. And then I'm like, how did you, what?
Yeah, like, no, like, and it's like, and then the math teacher, it's just a different method, you know, of doing the exact same thing. And you go, okay, look, if there's a faster way of me accomplishing this, why wasn't I taught that way? Like he did it in 3 steps. I did it in 12. You see the difference here?
No. I learned the faster way.
And then she goes, and I remember, I can't remember her name right now, but she goes and she says, okay, look, the difference is they were taught this in grade 8.
Yeah.
She's like, the method you're learning now. So when they do it in grade 11 or grade 10 or whatever grade we're in, she's like, they've already mastered it. So she's like, they don't even need to do those steps. They're already doing it in their head. And I'm like, that's like some elite type stuff there. You're like, and I thought I was smart.
That makes you wonder, like if we're Canada, we consider like one of the better countries, but then like in terms of like education, you know, like behind a bit.
It's just like I was learning this in grade 8.
Hey, doing this in like grade 12. Like what's going on?
No, like it's not about like how we learn or like how much we learn. Yeah. The rate of things, the way they ratio it on Earth is more like how many people in your general population can read and write.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Like that's the overall concern, right?
Yeah.
And in Canada, at this point in time, it's safe to say if you don't want to learn how to read and write, you didn't go to school. Also because school here is free. So, you know, like all the way to grade 12. So like, you know, like in that, like, meanwhile, our aunt doesn't know how to read or write because it costs money to go to school.
Yeah.
Well, like you can go all the way to grade 6, but before But that's now. But before, she was, when she was younger, that was before even that. So it's just too expensive for some people to afford to go to school. Like, and that's just it. Like, and I hadn't realized it up until like recently. I was like, oh my gosh, like there's a lot of people I know who don't know how to read, like that are in my family, in my direct family. But at the same time, I'm like, yo man, looking at like my problems and like how I am as like a person with like this dyslexia and all that stuff. Yeah. Like if I were born in that country, I'd be screwed.
Yeah.
Because I legit would have never learned how to read or write. I'm like, I was just doomed. I'm like, doomed to fail. They would have said I was just stupid or born like with a deficiency. Just were like, oh, he's dead to us now.
So I remember taking Spanish.
Oh, that's right. You took Spanish.
Yeah. Were you any good?
Absolutely not.
Okay, look. Okay,
he shut himself down. He's like, absolutely not.
Okay, look. Also, like to be fair, he was learning Spain Spanish, so like it's heavy accented and it's the list.
The S is TH.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, the other thing too is like it's level 1. What was it, level 1?
Oh, I have no idea. Because I got tricked into that class too. Because I was like, she was like, all right, you have 2 options because you need. You can't have 2 spares in the afternoon. You have to take, or in the morning rather. You have to take a class. It's like grade 10 geography or Spanish. I'm like, I'm not going with my brother in grade 10 geography. Absolutely not. So I'm going to go Spanish. She's like, don't worry, it's beginner. You don't have to know Spanish. I'm like, oh, say less. Show up the first day. The guy is speaking fluent Spanish.
And you're like, what is going on?
I'm looking around. I'm like, is this right class? It's like, okay. He says like, come in, senor, in Spanish. And I'm like, standing at the door. I was like, what do we do?
It's like, I don't know what you're saying. No, but like, there's
like
no, like actually, this one time I was in that class. And he was talking so fast. Okay, look, so we speak Spanish, like, and I say fairly well, but he was talking so fast. I had no idea what he was saying to me. I was like, okay. I was like, whoa. I was like, can you slow down? He's like, I thought you said so fast. I'm like, yeah, I speak Spanish, but I don't know what you're saying. Like, and then later on, we were having this discussion how he's like from like the region where he's from and where he learned Spanish. And then he asked me if I had any family in Spain there, and I go, why? He's like, your last name there is super common. He's like, it's like I don't know. It's like going to China and saying Lee.
Yeah.
And I was like, my last name is common? Like, I had this moment of like, whoa, you're saying like, I'm a clan of people? We're in this like location? I gotta go meet my people. Like, it was like this whole thing. And then like later on, we were like, me and him had like this crazy like thing where like, we started looking into my last name and like, it comes from like the Middle East. And it was like when the Arabs invaded like in the early like 1400s or something like that. And how like they pillaged Spain and like just like this whole like history.
Well, actually, our last name actually comes from a mountain.
Oh, okay. Look, so but anyway, but it also comes from like this anyway. Yeah. From like some like it has this whole like connection. Like anyway,
it has this very long story.
The original guy who came up with it was actually some Arab prince.
It was royalty.
And I'm like, wow, I could own a country and not even know it. Or I could own like even a quarter or a third or I don't know, 1/1,000,000th of it. I'd still own something.
Basically royalty.
Yeah, but like it was like super absurd. And,
somewhere down the line.
And like I found this out having like a 3-hour conversation with this guy after school. But it was just so bizarre. And then after that, I never spoke to him again. I was tapped out.
It's like you talk too fast, man.
I was like, I can't, no more. I'm out.
It's like the first time I went to Mexico and like everybody was talking and they talked so fast and I was like, what?
You know what? I just looked at the time and realized we've gone way over.
Yes, we have. Okay, I guess we're gonna wrap up. Go like and subscribe. We're on multiple different platforms. We always have everything in the description, wherever it is, right up or down or left. You guys can also leave us an email, and we
ask us questions.
Whatever,
I don't care anymore.
We're probably gonna make a post soon on our Instagram, hopefully.
At one point.
Yeah.
I find the time to take a picture.
And we're also Facebook. We're gonna start doing that.
Yeah, too. I'm gonna probably open up a Facebook page because I've actually had people tell me, why don't you have like I just like a month ago we opened up our Instagram account, and now people are like, yo, why aren't you on Facebook?
Like, we're just like, we just got Instagram.
Like it's been it's literally been like not even like it's been like a month and a week since I got Instagram. Like little steps, please.
Yeah,
like, but if you have any questions, queries, email us, whatever. I don't.
Everything.
Like also like our Twitter's down there too. I actually haven't posted. Like I don't think we even have any followers on our Twitter because I rarely advertise our Twitter.
Yeah.
Also, I think I've tweeted out like maybe 3 times.
If you'd like to plug yourself in, you can.
For sure, you guys can always follow me at kevjones.fit on Instagram. I'm
It'll
posting.
also be linked in the description if you want to follow Kevin and his
Fitness.
adventures.
Yeah, exactly. Fitness journey. Yeah, I'm trying to post more frequently now. I'm trying to get at least one post in a week.
Nice.
Trying to get there.
Yeah.
Wait, before we go,
Sure.
were you at the finals for the soccer game back in high school days?
I think I was.
So that was crazy. I still remember. That was like the best moment. But that's off topic.
Okay, yeah. Real quick, he's like, before I finish.
Well, you guys can always follow us on any platform we're on. Listen to us any platform we're on. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.
Thank you for having me.